Yo, what is up? What's going on? Thank y'all for tuning in to another DLE Fitness live stream show. Yes, sir. Oh, I can't hear my claps. There we go. How's everybody doing today? Today is Friday. Yes, sir. The end of the week. So hopefully you're having a good day. In and out your week really good. Hopefully everything is going good for you. Getting your Christmas shopping and everything wrapped up. And if you're not having a good day, then hopefully Mr. Child can break it down to you.
Oh, you're having a bad day? Did you die?
I got shot.
But did you die?
As long as you didn't lose your life, you should be a-okay. You should be able to make something happen and do something good with your life and try to figure out what your next best move is and execute it with precision. Let's go. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right. And just to let you know, we are simultaneously streaming on YouTube, Twitch, Kick, and Rumble. Yes, sir. And if you're on YouTube, when you see that thumbs up button, do me a favor and hit the like button. It'd be greatly appreciated to get the likes up and get the algorithm out. And also, if you want to contribute to today's show right there, there's a Cash App and a Venmo. Cash App Daniel2088, Venmo Daddy-Daniel-00. And if you're on Twitch, YouTube, or Twitch, Kick, or Rumble, go ahead and give your boy a follow and hit that follow button. It's greatly appreciated. Well, thank you so much. Yes. And for today's show, we got a couple of things lined up for you. We're going to check out what is going on in UFC, what is going on in NYC, New York City, and also what could be plaguing the country of America here pretty soon. So we're going to see how this thing is going to pan out and how this is going to go. Because seems like HIV is on the rise in New York City. Also in Houston, also in Atlanta. But today we're going to talk about New York, and we're going to look at some things that probably are going to pinpoint why HIV may be a serious issue in the near future. I don't know, if you ask me. I mean, if I was an evil genius looking at how things are being ran, I would tell you right now, the way the situation with HIV is being utilized, I would say it's a perfect recipe for a later on planned epidemic later on down the street, if you know what I mean. It kind of makes sense. So we're going to tap into it and look at all these things to see if we can line up. Why do they look at HIV as not that big of a deal? Because it used to be an issue. It used to be something bad and you don't want to get and all that stuff. And now they look at HIV now and it's not as serious as it used to be back in the day. I guess people want to be progressive and say, hey, we have pills for that now. Cool. If you want bumps on your coochie and your ding-a-ling, power to you. Do your thing. If you want to walk around with bumps and sores in your mouth, hey, no big deal. It wasn't that serious to begin with. But as I know, it's something that you cannot cure. So once you get it for life. But for some reason, it's not seem that bad or that big of a deal anymore. And what's crazy is that the CDC even has the gumption to put into their website that it can be undetectable on test. So therefore, if it's undetectable on test, that means that if you come into contact with someone, they won't catch it. I mean, I'm just like, come on, bruh. Like, really?
I said, goddamn.
So when we take a look at this, we're going to dive in deep, because if that's the case, I'm pretty sure this ain't super old news, but if you look at the way things are going, it makes perfect sense, because you also have to add in everybody fighting to get immigrants into the country. But what's crazy is that a while ago, probably at this point, like 15 years ago, did you know that they took having HIV off as a thing that you could do, or excuse me, a thing that you could have from getting your green card? So it used to be, if you want to come into the country, You couldn't have no dirty. You couldn't be walking around here like a dirty Cooch Ashley or dirty Dick Rodney. You couldn't be walking around with that on you. If you had a dirty, private area, they wouldn't let you in. Well, they removed that rule. So now if you can come into the country with HIV. Also, furthermore, you could also enlist in the military with HIV. We're going to dive into that too. So with all of this going on, we gonna see, is America headed in the right direction? Because it just don't sound like it is. It just really don't, if you ask me. And I don't know how well Islam is when it comes to their principles and their values and how well they hold them up. Now, I don't know. I've never looked into an Islamic country to see what their disease rates are and all that good stuff. I haven't seen if it's bad or anything like that. They say they're not big into degeneracy and all that good stuff, but when you hear about the dudes out there in Dubai, I mean, they be out there running through these women. Shut up! I mean, they be out there doing them women dirty from what I hear. So you kind of think is Islam really doing things by the book? Because them boys up there in Dubai, boy, oh boy, they like, hey, lady, come here. Shut up. So we're going to dive into that. And then last but not least, for the AI segment of the show, we're going to check out exactly what's going on with the future of cars. We have noticed, or we have seen recently, that cars now, when you buy a new car, and technically I've heard when I read into it and seen from a dealer or a person who works on cars, they said since 2020 that now your trial period for your new car that has all these computer systems in it, they say now that if you have a remote start car or a car with all the little bitty, bells and whistles that women and some dudes like, all the little push this and push that and GPS here and emergency button there and Siri here and push to start cute things. They now say that your car requires a subscription just to start, just to use GPS, just to listen to the radio, and many other things. I looked into it, and it said it was Toyota. But as I dove deeper, it seems like every car now in the future moving forward will require a subscription just for you to crank it up. Boy, oh boy, that sucks. I'm like, oh, you want to leave? Yeah, that's going to cost you X amount of dollars a month. Oh my goodness. So that means at some point gas prices is going to go through the roof because they're going to try to force you to get the electric car so they can know where you're going. Like, hold on, you gas drivers can't just be driving anywhere. Hold on, wait a minute, gas drivers. I mean, if you want to drive anywhere, you have to just charge you out the ass for gas. Now, there's this one dude on TikTok. I feel, after seeing this, I feel sorry for one particular dude on TikTok. He's a young man, very smart, bright, intelligent young brother. He utilizes plastic and he's turned plastic into gasoline. He calls it plastiline. Now, just think, if they've utilized the way to give you subscription on cars, this young gentleman is using plastiline. He's created an invention to turn plastic into gasoline. Plastiline is what he calls it. If they're running a subscription on cars, and people want to stay with gasoline cars, but he's the rare anomaly over there still running gasoline by the plastic. Number one, Buddy's got a market. Let's just call a spade a spade. He's got a market to run with. But number two, we all know how this goes in the end. So, I mean, if you know anything about governments, anything about big corporations, there was a dude back in the 90s who was unfortunately not very smart, but went on the television at the time and went on the news channel and showed everybody that he was able to run his car on water. Shortly after that interview, unfortunately, it was like this.
Prepare
And he is no longer with us. Yes. He found a way to drive his car on water, and shortly afterward, he died. Coincidence, huh? Yeah, I think not. So, with that being said, we got a good show lineup for you today for sure. So we're going to go ahead and dive into this bad mamma jamma because we do got to cover these topics, which will take us a little bit of time, but it'll be interesting to get into because it is education to learn, to see not only which direction the world is headed in, but also how to navigate in a world full of evil, because shit's getting pretty evil, I might say. So you might want to know how to navigate in an evil world. Go read your Proverbs 20 if you know what I mean. Go read Proverbs 22 and you'll understand what an evil, what happens when whenever a man foresees evil coming from years away. What does he do? You know what I mean? Go ahead and figure that one out. But with that being said, let me go ahead and start this AI, the economy segment of the show, and we're going to dive right into this bad boy. So let's go.
Welcome to the economy segment of the show. Enjoy.
All right. There we go. Wait, where my applause at? There we go. Sheesh. About to say, tough crowd. Let me go ahead and move this out the way. All right, so here we go. Oh, where's my banner? There's my banner. All right, so now that we got that going, let's go ahead and pull, where we at? Where are we? We are going to pull this up. Where is it? Where are you? Here we are. So, starting off with this first. All right, so we're going to start here. Here is where we have to start the show off because there's stuff that we got to get into. So, knowing that there is a high situation going on with HIV, just happened to be rolling through the TikTok webs and just seeing all sorts of craziness coming on. And this kind of led me down this rabbit hole. I had to think about this. I was like, God dang, is this really true? Because this is ladies on TikTok. She's come with me to pick up my HIV medication. I was like, bruh, is this what we doing? So she doesn't come with me to go pick up her HIV medication. I believe she's in good old New York. I mean, I think, yeah, she's in New York because she has it all like hashtagged and everything. But let's go ahead and watch this lady. I saw this video. When I seen her do this, it made me think. I was like, she's going to go pick it up. But when she picks it up, she's going to ask a question. She's going to say, how much is this medication without insurance? Let's go ahead and tap into the video and see what happens when we get ready to go with her to pick up her HIV medication. So here we go. Let's go ahead and pull this pretty lady up right here. And let's see how this goes. So here we go. Here we go.
Come with me to pick up my HIV medication. You guys are right. I shouldn't have waited till last minute to pick up my medication. And I'm going to try to make sure it doesn't happen again.
Hello. How are you? I'm here to pick up some medication. I changed my medication back to lo que era antes. I was on Triumeq, but now I'm on Complera again. I wanted to know how much it costs, the Complera, because I know how much Triumeq costs, but I want to know how much it costs without insurance. If he has time, I know that you guys are closing.
$42.
4,200?
Oh, I didn't hear what he was saying.
4,200? So it's even more expensive than Triumeq.
Okay, so as you heard right there, she said that the price she said she figured out how much the first one was, but she wanted to know how much the second one, the new one, I guess the other one she was getting. And they told her that without insurance, it would be $4,200 for her medication for her HIV. And she said, wow, that's more expensive than the other one. $4,200 for some HIV medication without insurance. So then that led me to think, I was like, damn, $4,200 for some HIV medication without insurance. You know, you go through the comment section and people are like, woo, thank God for insurance. Oh man, insurance is great, blah, blah, blah. I just couldn't imagine, yada, yada, yada. But I'm like, yeah, that's true. And she's in New York. But looking at how things are going, you're in New York, right? And I would assume that because you're in New York, maybe the medication would be more expensive in New York, just off of just pure principle of being in New York. Excuse me, one of the most expensive places that you could be. So I'm thinking to myself, well, you know what, hold on, let me play some background music back. Am I allowed to play background music while I do my live stream? I'm curious on that. I'm going to actually play some background music while I do my live stream. That would be fun to do. I'm going to do that real quick. Give me 2 seconds. But it made me think. It's like, okay, so if New York is the most expensive place to do, is the most expensive place to live, well then, $4,200 for some freaking medication. But the thing is, people are running around here and they want to live in a socialist government society. They think that socialism is the way to go. And I'm thinking to myself, like, if you go socialism, though, then that means that the government has control over everything. Bear with me 1 second. Yeah, that means that the government has control over everything. I'll play. There we go. I think I can do that. Now, if the government has control over everything, as far as insurance go, I hope they let me know, copyright this. If not, I have to do the show over again. Imagine if you're in a socialist society and people for some reason think that socialism is going to go good. Like nothing's going to go wrong when you're in a socialist society. But if you're in a socialist society, right? First of all, you're coming out of a capitalist society that you hate. And the people who are in capitalism, a lot of people hate them right now. They're like, capitalism is toxic, it's evil. They have all the money, they run it to the top, and they treat everybody like crap. Okay, I can agree. Capitalism does have both sides, but you got private rights, private property, I should say, under capitalism. And then you have the other side too. So you have an opportunity in capitalism. However, you got the same people in capitalism. If you migrate over and change the capitalist society into a socialist society, do you not think that the same mindset of people, the same people who got all the money, if you can convince them to go socialist, do you think it's going to hurt their pockets? Because it's like they don't have a loyalty to anything except profit. So if you can convince these people, hey, you capitalists, we want to switch to socialists, but if you switch over to socialists, we can increase your profits. So the same people who were capitalists that you hated will turn around and become socialists and then just milk the living shit out of you in a socialist society and then turn it communist. That's just my opinion. So then now you're going into a socialist society who then have the capitalist and the socialist people in it, which then goes to communism. But then if your insurance is in the control of the government, and then without insurance, they sell you something and it costs $4,200, don't you think they would make more money charging you $4,200 than giving it to you for the insurance price? Because they don't have your best interests at heart. Your best interest at heart is predicated on you. I mean, that's the endless story in the Bible. they were supposed to follow God, but they kept turning around looking for a king, looking for a savior, looking for a pharaoh, looking for a ruler, looking for somebody to watch over them and protect them and guide them and do everything. But the whole time it's like, you do it. You know God, do what God wants you to do. But they kept looking for someone to do it for them. So every time they got a king or a ruler, the same outcome kept happening and they kept getting enslaved. Whether it was a capitalist society, socialist, communist society, it didn't matter. The same outcome kept happening. I just think they probably had a better chance than the capitalist society, but that's just me. So when you look at your HIV medication costing $4,200 without insurance, and then we look at this. HIV cases is rising in New York City in the wake of a pandemic disruptions in testing and care. This is December 12th, 2025. What was it, 6 days ago? 7 days ago? Something like that? A week ago, we'll say. Rising in New York in wake of pandemic disruptions in testing and care. So they're having rising cases in HIV in New York. Now, remember, we just had the new mayor get brought in. Don't mess with the Zohan. Right? So we got the Zohan in right now, and he had his viewpoints, because he's a socialist when he went as far as the government goes. What the hell is that? He's a socialist as far as government goes, and people are like, okay, pro-socialism. Cool. Have your viewpoints, have your beliefs. However, let's just go ahead and let him say his speech real quick. Here we go. Let me grab Mr. Zohan right here and let's let him talk and speak on a couple of things real quick. So let's see what he has to say. If you remember this speech, he has a city of immigrants and he feels very strongly by immigrants. Let's see what he says. Here we go.
New York will remain a city of immigrants, a city built by immigrants, powered by immigrants, and as of tonight, led by an immigrant. New York.
All right. So as you can see, he's pro-immigrants, which I don't have a problem with him. Unless come in the right way. Don't be illegal. But we've been having an issue with that as is. But I'm under the impression, my understanding is that we're moving into communism as the United States goes. So it doesn't matter what you say or what you do. They're coming in. Communism, socialism is coming in, which is the prerequisite for communism. So we're heading in that direction anyway. People are fighting for it, but at the end of the day, it's going to happen the way it's going to happen. Just you need to you just need to accept it and come to terms with it and figure out how you're going to navigate. All right, so he had that speech, said that, New York City is that way. And there's a bunch of other places that are already that way. You got Minnesota, California is practically that way. So now New York, the biggest financial hub in the United States. But he's just the mayor. But from mayor, will he work his way up to like mayor, governor, president? Who knows? I mean, he could. I mean, I wouldn't put it past him. But he's allowing immigrants to come in. But not just that. He takes it a step further by saying this right here. Let's go with this right here and hear what he says on this part right here. Here we go.
Listen carefully now. All immigrants from New York and all immigrants coming to New York are now guaranteed green card passes, effective immediately. You tried to turn fear into policy. We are turning policy into protection. No child will be left in limbo. No parent pushed into the shadows. No worker punished for seeking an honest life. Our doors are open and our paperwork will match our promise. Here's what it means. First, legality. We will issue immediate green card, lawful authorization routed through expedited channels so families can live, work, and study without fear. Second, due process. Every applicant receives free legal counsel, translation and case tracking, no more losing your future to a missing form or a bad translation. Third, dignity. Access to clinics, schools, housing assistance, and worker protections begins day one, not someday.
Okay, so as you see there, he basically declared, in my humble opinion, that will be an act of war if you come in and your ideology, your mindset is to change the faith of the country that you're coming into. And I read to you the Muslim Brotherhood plan for North America that was done in 1991. And as I read that to you, and if you go look at my live stream, you'll see it. I just did a whole stream. I read the whole document, and you'll see that as they come in, their whole thing is to literally change the faith of the United States from a Christian-based country to an Islamic-based country, and not just United States, but globally. But if you get the U.S., you get everything else, because number one, U.S. has New York City, which is a extremely strong financial place. Plus, it has the strongest military. So, I mean, allegedly, I guess China might have surpassed it. I think China did, or they did technology-wise. Whatever. But now you come in and you want to take over the faith of the United States and change it from a Christian base to an Islamic base. Now, once you get the U.S., you'll probably be able to get the rest of the country. Now, the issue with the United States is that's been going on lately is there's been a whole lot of degeneracy and a whole lot of fighting from within. There's been fighting over like what is a woman and gender, and there's more than one gender, and male and female can't get along, and let the kids decide what their sexual orientation is, and black fatigue, white fatigue. There's anti-white rhetoric going on about hating the white man. There's I can't date you if you're a MAGA, and liberals are extremely promiscuous, so just let them be them, and pay them a fee and give them what they want and use their bodies. They don't care. My body, my choice. It's a whole lot of just like all these different things going on that's being fought from within the country. Then you have Islamics, people, Muslims, whatever, coming into the country. And they're coming in family orientated, or at least in line with their values of their faith. Maybe they may not all be family oriented, because we hear that these women, there's a lot of single women in the Muslim faith that are coming in, like from Minnesota. There's a lot of like single women, Somalian women. There's a lot of single women that are Somalian, because the guys impregnate the women because they can have more women, but the woman gets shamed if she doesn't keep the man or whatever. At least that's the story that you get. But do they still keep the same value of faith moving forward? You know what I mean? Because if that's the case, and the woman still moves forward the one man and woman, they both still move forward in agreement with their faith of Allah, they still vote in the same direction, which then pushes their political power and their faith to the top. As opposed to America's different. America, man and woman don't get along, they clash. Now what happens? They're in family court, they're fighting, they're bickering. Now men and women see each other differently. They don't want to really deal with each other. They're fighting. You got liberal, you got conservative. The way a liberal thinks. A liberal has its way of thinking of free choice and do what I want, and abortions, and my hair is green and blue, and LGBTQRSLMNOP, and all these different things that are going on in their head. And gender fluid and all these different things. And then you have the conservative, traditional, and women in the kitchen and cooking and raising the family. Two opposite mindsets. So then when they go to vote, they can't really come to an agreement on what to vote on. However, the Islamic side realizes that they can get the liberals, who are, I guess, if you look at their practice, it's like atheistic. It's there is no religion. There's nothing that it follows. It's progressive. It's not traditional. It's out of a line of God. It's out of a line of nature. So they realize that, and they're like, well, if we can get them to vote and also support immigrants and abortion and all of this stuff, we can actually have America destroy itself from within by utilizing the liberal mindset. Don't have any more kids, or wait till you're older to have kids, or don't have kids. Being LGBTQ, which means you don't have kids because you're the same sex having sex with the same sex. So there's no kids that way. You go against the constitution of the country that you're in. You believe in immigration and letting people in, whether legal or illegally. You also vote for communism. You also vote for all these different things that go against the tradition of what the country was built on. So when you add all these things together, you have all these people coming in, right? You still have an undercurrent of degeneracy that's happening. And with the undercurrent of degeneracy that's happening, it's letting in people from both sides. It's letting in people from all walks of life. And when these people are coming in and HIV is running rampant and nobody's paying attention to it, because all you need to do is get a PrEP, a medication or whatever it is, and it's, manageable. It's not cured. It's like treated but not cured. But yet people still go out having sex with HIV, giving it to others. So it's almost used like a biological weapon, like a biological warfare from within. But then we all know that Islam don't play when it comes to LGBTQ type things. I'm pretty sure if Islam, I don't know this for sure, but I'm going to assume if Islam finds out somebody in a thing has some kind of HIV, I would assume they take care of it. Because they're way more strict, they're more tighter with their religion. But then again, even if they are, even if they're not, it doesn't change the fact that if you come into the country with HIV, nobody's gonna know. So what I found is this. Excuse me. Where's my thing at right here? Right here. What I found is this. In the UAE, they will deport you if you test positive for HIV. So let's take a look at this right here and let's just see exactly how this works. So just think about this. If you are from a different country, for example, the UAE, they'll deport you if you got HIV. But let's see exactly how this works. So let's let this lady talk about it first, then we'll dive in deeper. So here we go.
Protocol if a hospital diagnosed a patient with HIV. So the protocol in such cases, basically, in short, is deportation. So you have to say goodbye to the country. We have had cases like this. So the UAE does have several medical bans, if you will, and that is if those who have certain medical conditions then are banned from continue to be in the country, one, and then ultimately from re-entering the country. So how this works is, so if somebody has been diagnosed with HIV now, and presumably that was done in the UAE, so that the authorities have the record of that person. So as the authorities in such cases communicate with immigration authorities and take it to the next level, and so that person will ultimately have to come to the immigration authorities and other relevant authorities and have their visa canceled, and they will be deported.
Okay, so as you heard, in the UAE, that's what happens. So if they get deported in the UAE, and they already, and maybe they were in their normal country, or maybe they went to a different country, which would have been the UAE, and then they got deported back to their homeland, where would the next place that they could go that would allow them in with HIV? Now, I don't know all of them, but I do know one of them, and we're going to take a look at it right here. Here's one of them right here. Here we go.
HIV prevents you from being allowed into the United States. HIV infection has been removed from the list of communicable diseases of public health significance. On January 4th, 2010, a final rule in the Federal Register went into effect to finally remove HIV from the list of communicable diseases of public health significance. HIV infection is no longer an inadmissible condition, and having HIV does not bar you from coming into the United States. Also, HIV testing is no longer required for medical examinations. for visa purposes. Additionally, applicants who are HIV positive no longer, since 2010, require waiver processing by the Department of Homeland Security, DHS. The DS-160 online non-immigrant visa application and the DS-260 online immigrant visa and alien registration application contain the following question: do you have a communicable disease of public health significance? So since January 4, 2010, HIV positive visa applicants no longer have to answer yes to this question based solely on their HIV status. Applicants who are HIV positive can answer no to the question. I hope this helps. All the best and follow me for more.
Okay, so you heard her. Since 2010. And I believe during that time, Obama was the president during that time. I believe so. Don't quote me on that, but I believe so. I believe that Obama was the president during that time. So as you can see, UAE will deport somebody for having HIV. And then you find out that the United States allows you in since 2010 with HIV. Don't mess with the Zohan, the mayor of New York. He's saying bring all immigrants in. Green card, it don't matter what it is. You can come in. How many of them are coming in with HIV? And this has been going on since 2010. Maybe not everybody knew about it, but as time goes on, more and more people know. Now, when more and more people come in, more and more degeneracy flies. Because imagine coming from a Muslim faith country, right? We'll say this as a man. Hell, a woman too. Imagine coming from a Muslim state country or whatever, and your faith over there is tight. Now you come over here, home of the whatever, it's like almost anything goes. And then the women you see over here, the way they dress over here is different than where you were. So now your temptation is being sparked. And then you realize like a lot of these women can be bought because, you know, they have no, I mean, it's practically legal out here to buy women out here, if you know what I mean. And they realize like, yo, I can get my meat fixed out here. Like all I got to do is pay a few dollars and, you know, get a release from one of these workers out here, because, you know, the liberal minded side, they promote SMEGS workers. They believe it's a job. So it's another aspect of it. And then you have them coming in, or somebody who already had HIV coming in and participating in sex work culture. And then you're just spreading it out even more and more and more and more. As an immigrant, you're coming in, you're spreading out all of this HIV. People who are already here, LGBT community, and everybody else spreading HIV. And now you have a mayor that's a lot, well, hell, not even just a mayor, but you've been having a lot of places in this country, but a lot of people just allowing everybody to come in, but HIV is not considered a heavy risk. It's not considered that big of a deal. Now, here are some people who talked about HIV, and they spoke on HIV from a nurse perspective, or somebody who works in the hospital. So let's go ahead and take a look at how somebody who works in a hospital setting, how they view HIV. Let's go ahead and take a look at that and see how this works. So here we go. This one right here is going to speak on it. So let's hear what she has to say. She works at a clinic and see what she sees.
You're thinking that HIV is a joke until you work in a clinic that sees predominantly, and the clinics that I worked in, and I've worked all over, but the clinics that I worked in were predominantly in North New Jersey and East Orange, New Jersey. And you start seeing the rate of HIV and Ryan White clients coming in, you will change your fucking mind. These people are sick. They do not disclose it. Listen to me. When I worked at a clinic, and I can't disclose it because of HIPAA practices, there was a couple of men that I would see come in there, that I would see in the dance hall party Monday through fucking Sunday, with the most bottle, with the biggest pockets, the most money, the biggest bottle. This is what y'all are not understanding. And he would have the hottest girl on his fucking wrist. To this day, that's why I look at some of these girls and I'm just like, ew. You didn't care enough about your own sexual reproductive health to go, he was just a cool popular boy, so you said whatever. It's a lot of them like this. And the quicker that y'all understand this, it is treacherous out here. And this is why I want to be with one person. This is why I have trouble. So even when y'all see me with my sneaky link, I fuck the same.
All right, so she's going to go in on what she does. But as you hear what she says that she sees a lot of people come in. And she mentioned something called a Ryan White client. I didn't know what the hell that was. So I had to dive in deeper to figure out what she meant by Ryan White client. But she also said, like, the people that you see with the most money, popping bottles, finest girls on their wrists in the club Monday through Sunday. She would see them there and she was like, I just seen you at the clinic and I know that you're positive. But yet you out here in the club popping bottles and stuff. And it's like, why do I see you out here at the club popping bottles? Well, first, let's dive into what exactly a Ryan White client is. So let's go ahead and figure what this is real quick. So here we go. This lady's going to break it down to us. Or she was. Let me get her up again. Here we go. Where does she go? Come on, sweetie. Come on. There we go. Got her back. All right, here we go. She's going to break down what Ryan White is. I wasn't sure what a Ryan White client was, but she's going to break it down. So here we go.
And one more thing while I'm here, because this is actually a very serious discussion that I'm about to have with y'all. And I pray that everybody takes heed, male and female. I see that the powers that be have just elected to discontinue funding for the Ryan White program. And if you are not aware, the Ryan White program is an HIV/AIDS education awareness program. Essentially, it helps provide people with resources, treatment, things of that nature for HIV and AIDS. Now, if you've been following me for a while, you know that I've had.
Okay, so right there, she said Ryan White is a resource that helps provide people with treatment and resources for HIV and AIDS. Now, remember, this woman that we started out the whole thing with, this lady right here, this little pretty lady right here, remember, she started off the show saying, get ready for me to go pick up my HIV medication. Now, it's a research treatment to help people. Now, the Ryan White clients is something that helps people with treatment and resources. Could the treatment also be a resource that helps people get the medication to pay for it? I don't know if that's true, but I'm just thinking that way. Because remember, the HIV medicine without insurance is $4,200. That was the more expensive one, and she is in New York. But let's cut that number in half, and let's just say it's $2,000. That's still a lot of money for an HIV medication if you don't have insurance. That's still a lot, because that's got to be a monthly supply. I'm pretty sure that's a monthly or every 2 month supply or whatever, on top of everything else you got going on around you, right? Like that's a lot that's a whole lot of money to just fork over for that. So, and this woman here said that she sees a lot of Ryan White clients come in as well. Now, if they're going to be cutting the funding on Ryan White clients, even though that lady was seeing Ryan White clients and other clients as well with HIV, she would still see them at the club popping bottles and doing their thing, going crazy. Some of the richest, biggest ballers. Why would she see that? Why would she see that? Let me explain to you why she would see that. It would be because of this reason right here. Where is it at? Where is it? I just had it up. God dang it. Let's see. Where is it right here? Here it is. Here it is right here. This is why people probably go out to the clubs and bars with a lot of money and don't worry about if they have HIV. This is the CDC website. Treatment from the CDC website of HIV. HIV treatment or ART, involves taking medicine as prescribed by a healthcare provider, and you should start HIV treatment ASAP after diagnosis. HIV treatment reduces the amount of HIV in the blood viral load. The HIV treatment can make the viral load so low that a test can't detect it. Undetectable viral load. If you have an undetectable viral load, you will not transmit HIV to others through sex. Having an undetectable viral load also reduces the risk of HIV transmissions through sharing drug injection equipment and during pregnancy, labor, and delivery. Come on. So, CDC is telling you straight up, if you have an undetectable viral load, then you won't transmit HIV through or during sex. Now, let's just be real. Like, do you believe that? And if you do, so be it. So, when you look at why HIV to this lady, when she spoke on, it wasn't that big of a deal to people because they were still at the club popping bottles with the finest girl on their arm or whatever. Well, we see why now. They not worried about it. And then you can bring in a bunch of different people. You can bring in immigrants from across the world who come into the United States. Even if they got HIV, it's okay. They can go get their PrEP or their ART or whatever stuff that they get. They can get undetectable test loads. They can go out there and have intercourse. And because CDC said so, guess what? You got an undetectable test load. You can keep having sex. Why? Because it does not transmit over to other people if it's undetectable. I mean, like, I'm gonna call bullshit on that one. Like, that's scary. That's scary as hell. So you don't know who has it. And if they do have it, it's undetectable. But if it's undetectable, is it still transmittable? I would say it is. CD says no, I say yes. So then this explains basically a war from within. Because then if you have that going on, think about the pandemic. The pandemic was for what? It scared you because there was a strong flu going around and they had everybody wearing masks, right? And everybody was dropping like flies, and if your immune system was weak, a lot of people were dying, unfortunately. I'm not bypassing and saying that the COVID was a hoax. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that the injection that they gave you COVID to tell you that, here's the treatment, but yet you still got COVID after you took the shot. Then you had to take shot 2 and 3 and 5 and 12. And I've seen people when I worked at the hospital who took the shot, and the next day they either didn't come to work or they came to work and they was like, they was moving around like sloths. They was like, yo, I don't feel good. I'm like, well, yeah, fool, they just gave your ass COVID. No shit. Of course you don't feel good. So the reason why they did the pandemic was because of a virus. Well, now you got an HIV virus or whatever you want. That's another virus being pushed around, undetectable if you take the correct drugs, and it's not detectable or transmitted to other people if you still have sex if it's undetected on a test. However, it's still a virus. And what happens if they come back and say, oh, wait, actually, it is detectable and a lot of people are transmitting it and it's a virus. We got to shut a lot of stuff down because right now we live in a heavy degenerate society. We live in a heavily degenerate society. Women sell sex on so many levels. In fitness, feet pictures, sugar daddies, OnlyFans, Fansleys. I mean, you name it. Snapchat, TikTok. I mean, it's sold to you in every shape, form, or fashion. It's just known how a lot of women pay bills nowadays. It's not hidden no more. It's on the front for it. So even if someone was like, I'm not going to mess with you unless I see your test is clean, they can give you a clean test. They can hand you a test that's clean. But does that mean that it's not going to transmit over to you even though they showed you a clean test? I mean, it's a 50-50, but I wouldn't want to take the chance. But then again, how would you know? You know what I mean? So if the pandemic happened because of a virus, isn't HIV a virus? You know what I'm saying? Like, think about it. And HIV is the perfect divide between genders. Why do genders get together? To procreate and fornicate. You scare the shit out of them with procreation and fornication. It's already bad enough that men and women don't want to get together now and, deal with each other unless it's strictly lust or financial gain. But you put that out into the open, like, it's going to put a huge separation between the genders and, like they say, divide and conquer. It's one thing to divide black people versus white people. It's one thing to divide Democrats versus Republicans. It's one thing to divide Christians versus Islam or Muslims, whatever you want to call it. But it's another thing to separate male and female. That's a whole nother separation where men and women are like, draw the line. We separating from each other because I don't know what you got. You don't know. You know what I mean? That's a whole different divide and conquer. I think if you successfully get that division amongst a nation, it's game over. It's game over. Now, let's go in and take a look at how deep this goes as well, because this doesn't just stop there. We also have a federal judge that says that the military can't turn away enlistees who are HIV positive, and this was last year in 2024. But let's go ahead and pull this up and hear what they got to say. So here we go.
Well, people who test positive for HIV can serve in the military. Legal decisions have been chipping away at the Department of Defense's stand on the virus that causes AIDS for years. The ruling broadly bars the military from preventing anyone who tests positive from enlisting. The judge said those who do test positive but have undetectable viral loads can perform any military duty. The CDC says undetectable people cannot transmit HIV. Judge.
There it is. The CDC says undetectable people can transmit. The CDC said it, y'all. So if the CDC says it, then you know what? That means it is 100% actual factual truth. But let's read this comment section, shall we? Right here, it says, but they can turn down diabetics. Correct. It says, but I can't smoke weed. This is getting ridiculous. Somebody says next is going to be weed, yeah. They say it's really sad seeing how many people are fundamentally uneducated and misinformed about HIV in the year of our Lord 2024. I guess he has it. Says these folks do anything but let weed be legal. Oh my God. He says that somebody here says the whole barracks will come out as effed up on that. Yeah. Somebody said, I'm getting out. No, sir. So you all downright ignorant. Civilians need to stick to their casual day jobs. It says, nope, because y'all make people shower together in basic. Oh my goodness, no. He said, true enlisted personnel with respect and like adults for retention is greater than, or is not as great as literally anything else. So as you can see here, some people are not for it. Some people are like, okay, so you can come in with HIV, but you got diabetes, you can't get enlisted. If you smoke, you can't get, which I think they'll sign waivers for if you smoke. So you can sign waivers to get in through smoking weed, I believe. But as you can see though, it's a virus. You can weaponize a virus. We've seen a virus get weaponized before. So if the CD's coming out telling you that this virus is not transmittable, if it's undetectable, what's to make you think that the CDC won't turn around and be like, yeah, remember we talked about HIV and how it's not detectable? Well, it's still not undetectable, but the thing is, it's like, you can still transmit it to other people even though it's undetectable. We fucked up. Yeah, we fucked up big time on that one. Yeah, you can pass it. Yeah, even though you can't see it on your labs, you can still pass it to other people. We kind of messed up on that. Now, here's the thing. The people, now think like this. This is what I always say. Think like an evil genius. You have to think like an evil genius. If I wanted to conquer the world and kill a bunch of idiots, think about this. What would you do? If I had a drug, where is it at? Let's pull up right here. Think like an evil person. If I had a drug that could make your virus undetectable or so low that you can't detect it on a test, and then I can convince you that you will not transmit this virus to others through sex because that's how it's transmitted, I'm the one who has the medication. I'm giving you the medication that makes it undetectable, untraceable. What happens when I start pulling that medication back? I start making it less potent and less potent and less potent and less potent. So now you've been believing for so long that this is undetectable. I can still have sex. This is undetectable. I can still have sex. And then before you know it, 5 years done go by and y'all been out here screwing and fornicating the whole time, and I done pulled all of the potency out of the drug, and now it's fully transmittable through everything that you've been doing. So now we got a new virus. Plandemic 2.0 is in the building. Just think like an evil person. It's a perfect idea to slaughter you. It makes sense. It makes perfect sense. Like, just think, it's not hard. It's like, it's the perfect remedy. It makes sense. If I wanted to slaughter you and you're dumb enough to believe me, you've already believed me before when I told you to wear a mask, but as long as you sit down to eat dinner in a public restaurant, nothing gonna get you. But when you go to the bathroom, put it on, because then the boogeyman gonna jump at you when you go to the bathroom. But then when you go to sit back down to eat, the boogeyman gonna take a time out. And like I say, I get it. People have low immune systems and people, but that's what the strong flu 19 was attacking: older people and people with weak immune systems. So now you have HIV, another virus. We in trouble, y'all. This is my humble opinion. We are in big trouble when it comes to this. People may not see it as that big of a deal, but I do. Because you're letting immigrants in who don't have to be tested. You got people believing that it's undetectable and you can't transmit it. We live in a degenerate society of just straight debauchery and harlots, and it's promoted, and the young girls go to OnlyFans when they turn 18. I mean, and then the LGBT community, they passing it around too, as well as the heterosexual community. And then the immigrants come in and they don't have to even speak on if they have it or not. But then they can go to Figueroa, throw a couple dollars and go smash something. But you know, people think that if you wear a rubber, you can't transmit a disease, which is just foolish. But then again, if you are the one with the drug that makes it undetectable, maybe it does at the beginning, but what happens when you pull that potency out of that drug? People are so comfortable with your drug being potent that they don't know that you cut it. And you just take it out and take it out and take it out. And now your undetectable is true, but your transmission or you transmitting it is still possible. Yeah, it's undetectable, but you can still transmit it. I mean, just think. If you're evil, that's the perfect idea. Oh my God. It's crazy. I mean, it is what it is, but hopefully you learned something on that one. We're going to slide on over to the next segment of the show, because I mean, whenever I sit down and I look at, and you know what, before we even go to the next segment of the show, let me just give a further update as to why this is a perfect evil genius plan. And if you look at how the world has been going these past 15 years, I'm a woman, hear me roar. I'm gonna let a woman explain what makes it even a better plan for the CDC to put out that statement. I'm gonna show you what makes the plan even better. If you're an evil genius, this is how you set up the plan 10, 15, 20 years down the line. Check this out. Watch what this woman says. Here we go. It says, what is a high supply sexual economy?
Today, we're living in what I call a high supply sexual economy. What's that? Well, it's where the price of sex has dropped so low because sex is in such high supply. Remember, like in my grandmother's generation, the price of sex was probably a year or more of courtship. In my generation, it was 3 dates. Remember the 3-date rule, folks? Well, today, the price of sex has dropped to the barrel bottom price of one well-worded text. Now, why has the price of sex become so cheap? Why is it in such high supply? Actually, there's good news to it. It's a byproduct of the economic rise of women. When women rise in economic power, they put sex out in the culture in high supply. When women are disadvantaged and repressed, they either close their legs and wait for a man to sign on the bottom line and support them and their offspring in something called marriage, or they monetize their vagina because prostitution rates go up. So when women are disadvantaged, you tend to have higher rates of marriage, virginity is coveted, more children are born within wedlock, and prostitution rates go way up. In fact, it's been estimated in Victorian England, the height of great economic progress, for men that is, that there was 1 prostitute for every 12 men in England. That's how big the business was. Funny, today we shop at a store called Victoria's Secret. Anyway, so now we have a different phenomenon. We have a huge rise of women in America. For every 2 men that graduate college, there are 3 women. Women make up 3/5 of graduate students. In the age 22 to 32 demographic, women make more money than their male peers. And women are now the majority in the American workforce. I know a lot of expensive men were laid off in the recession, but there are more of us making money now. So as a result, we don't need marriage. Women do not need a man to sign on the dotted line, support them and their offspring in a long-term contract called marriage, so they can finally enjoy the pleasures of their body. This sounds wonderful, right? This is all good news, sort of. Except 2 things happen to men in a high supply sexual economy. The first thing is they lose ambition. Because historically, one of the reasons why young men compete against other young men to extract resources from the environment is so that they can afford more women or have access to higher status women. So now a dude can sit until the age of 30 or later in his mother's basement playing Xbox, asking you to text in a naked picture of yourself. I swear it's happening. I met a guy who was 40 and doing that, mother's basement and all. The other thing that happens to men is they not only lose ambition, but they lose the ability to commit. Newsflash, people, men do not have a fertility window. Guys in their 40s, they can ride this wave of free sex well into their 40s or later and then marry a younger woman when they decide, if they do, that they want a family. So the high supply sexual economy in the end actually hurts women. And the only way to cure it is to practice slow love.
Now, that video was made 12 years ago. And ask yourself this question. If you were an evil genius, and you were to make a plan to destroy a society from within, this woman just told you what happens when women get money. And we see that that is a actual factual truth because we're living it. As old as that video is. Don't this make sense? To tell people that HIV treatment will not transmit HIV to others through sex? Doesn't it make sense now to let them know that if they take your medication, your viral load will be undetectable and you can't transmit it to others through sex? Then on top of that, you let in a bunch of immigrants and you remove, back in 2010, HIV as a requirement to come over. You can come in now with HIV. You won't get deported if you have HIV. You can come into the country with HIV. And we give you medication for it that's undetectable. And from right out of a woman's mouth and through actions that we've seen, when you give more women money, promiscuity goes up, birth rates go down. It's a perfect storm. And just remember, COVID happened because of a virus. HIV is a virus. Just wouldn't you at some point, with the medication that you're given for HIV, make it undetectable for so long and then slowly remove the potency out? And then boom, you have a pandemic 2.0. I'm just saying, to me, that makes sense if I was an evil genius. Good Lord. Hey, I hope that don't come true, but you never know, you know what I'm saying? With that being said, man, let's go ahead and jump into the AI segment of the show. Here we go.
Welcome to the AI segment of the show.
All right, y'all. So we're here for the last segment of the show, the AI segment of the show. What does that say? Oh, that's somebody else. All right, so we're in the AI segment of the show. We're going to just jump right in there. So in the AI segment of the show, as you already saw, if you read the title to anything, we have now noticed that there is a subscription when it comes to vehicles. And the first subscription, can I say the word? The first subscription we're going to look at is Toyota. It is making a subscription to just drive the damn car. So people are realizing that the car that they had now requires a subscription just to crank that sumbitch up. Don't believe me? Let's go ahead and take it to somebody who's going to show you how this whole thing works. Here we change the banner. Go. Here it is.
$600 a year to keep all of our functions on our 2025 Camry after we've owned it for a year. Let's go ahead and dive into what it is. Well, everything's a subscription nowadays, so it shouldn't be too surprising that cars are now wanting a subscription as well. And after a year, Toyota expires some of the vehicle functions. So what are those functions? Well, probably the biggest thing that expires after a year is remote start via the Toyota app. So you used to be able to, from anywhere, open the app and remote start your vehicle to get it cooled down. That's no longer a thing after a year. You also lose the digital key functionality, so you have to take your keys everywhere with you. You can no longer use your watch or your phone. Another big thing that expired is our navigation. Despite us buying the high-end XSE trim level with the big screen, when we tab to the navigation menu, guess what? It's now expired, and if I hit get started, all it wants to do is sell me this subscription. So how much is the subscription? Well, $15 a month is the entry-level price. If you want the app functionality with things like navigation, which I feel like we already paid for. Now, if you want additional things like Apple Music to be able to function inside the car natively, that's $25 a month. And then if you want Wi-Fi on top of that, that's an additional $25 a month. So yes, you can spend $50 a month on this Camry in subscriptions, $600 a year. Now, of course, we're not doing that. I don't think it's worth that, but do you think it's worth it? Comment your thoughts down below. And if you want to learn all about the Camry, we have a ton of videos, so be sure to follow us down below.
And the nominees for Best Actress in a Groovy Nightclub Drama, Miss Wayman Harrington.
So as you can see, he clearly described that if you get a new Camry or any Toyota car, that you now have to pay for your subscription on the vehicle. Good Lord. But the thing is, it don't stop there. There's other cars that people have reported. So let's check out this other lady who was upset at her Subaru who was going through the same thing. Let's check her out. Here we go.
Can't use the printer unless I have a subscription to it.
I absolutely loved my Subaru. Until 3 years after I had it, when the My Subaru subscription ran out. And all of a sudden, I didn't have access to my remote start anymore. So even though it's there, I have remote start, I can't use it because I don't pay for the subscription, which is $150 a year. I have to pay $150 a year for a feature that's already in the car. And I love Subaru.
All right, so I'm going to stop her right there. She said that she's had that car for 3 years. 3 years. She made this video in 2024. She's had that car for 3 years, and now she's got to pay $150 a month subscription just to crank the car up. Boy, oh boy. Now, I don't know. Now, the way the video started, it started with, you saw that first girl said that I can't use the printer unless I have a subscription. I don't know if that was true or not, but I mean, looking at the way the world is going, I mean, that's how the video started. So I'm assuming that maybe she was telling the truth too about using a printer with a subscription. But back to that lady, she mentioned that she has to pay $150 a month just to crank it up. $150 a month just to crank it. Let's do some quick math. 300, 600, 900. That's 6 months, $900. 3, 6, 9. So in a year, that is going to be, you double that, $1,800 just to crank your car up. Oh boy, that is crazy. Just to crank the car, Lord. Oh man, what do you do? What do you do? Now, where is this guy at? This guy here, he has something up on the screen. Let me see. Does he say anything about it? Let me see. No, he just has a video playing. He's going to mention that he has a Mazda. He says the Mazda now requires a monthly subscription just for remote start, and owners are not happy about having to pay $10 a month just to remote start their car. Now, $10 a month ain't too bad, but still, I wouldn't pay jack shit just to crank my car up. Now, we have this gentleman who's going to clear up the air to tell people if what they were hearing were true about the Toyota subscriptions, because it looks like he works here. So look at him. He looks like he works at Toyota right here, Toyota of Ann Arbor. He's going to go ahead and come in and clear the record to let people know, hey, what you've been hearing on the internet, I'm going to let you know if it's true or false. So let's hear what he has to say. Here we go.
Hey guys, John Howell with ToyotaJohn.com again. Going through a couple of things on Instagram. I saw a review on the 25 Camry that put out a lot of disinformation out there as far as subscriptions and what features are available and what are not. Saw a second one last night on Instagram, and I kind of wanted to set the record straight. Yes, Toyota does have some services that are subscription. You have to have the app and you have to subscribe after a trial. If you bought it used, there may not be a trial, unless it's a certified used, and sometimes there is and sometimes there isn't. Things like Drive Connect, Remote Connect, Safety Connect, those are all going to be subscription services. after a trial period. Drive Connect is the latest and greatest of navigation from Toyota. Remote Connect obviously starts your car, locks or unlocks. Safety Connect is our version of OnStar. Airbags deploy, they're going to come in and ask if you're okay. If you do not answer, they are going to send everybody, police, fire, and ambulances to your location. With that having been said, there are, Wi-Fi Connect as well. When you buy new, you get a...
He said they're going to ask you if you're okay, and if you do not respond, they're going to send the ambulance, the EMT, and the police. Who you think gonna foot that bill for calling them folk out? Now, if that microphone is on when they ask you a question, do you think they turn that microphone off whenever you're just in the car riding casually? Exactly. I don't think so either. So they listening to your conversation in that car with all those little fancy things going on in it. So he's clarifying that, hey, there is subscription basis with your car. There's nothing that you can do about it. Yeah, your car got a subscription for sure, and there ain't nothing you can do about it. The microphone will be running at 24/7, 365 to listen to everything you say, not only when it needs to help you, but they gonna be listening to you. Yes, they gonna listen to everything you say. So when they get that digital ID or that microchip implanted in your hand or your forehead or wherever the hell they want to put it, oh yes, you better watch what you say, because they gonna be like, hey, who said that? Which microchip is located inside that car? Turn them off. And you're gonna be like, yeah. And then I said to Trump, I said, if he don't... You see, I had to find a button. Oh boy, it's gonna be goodbye. That's the direction we are headed in, buddy. There ain't nothing you can do about it. Now, one of the things I did hear is that let me see.
Is Toyota a map?
Let me see. One of the things I did hear, I don't know if he said it or not, but I heard somebody say that they started doing these cars like this in 2020. What happened in 2020? So anything prior to 2020, you won't have to deal with this subscription of turning on your cars. However, you have to ask yourself this question. He mentioned something about used cars. What's going to happen with the used car market when cars now require a subscription to turn on? There won't be any more used cars for a sale. I don't think there will be. Why would you need a used car if, unless you're just going to transfer the subscription over to the next person? But like, how would you sell a used car? Because it's like, I bought the used car from you to use. But if I buy the used car from you to use, I still got to pay a subscription from a used car. Or will the people who have the subscription on the car even allow you to sell the used car to someone else? They might be like, no, you can't sell our used cars, because if it's not you who's cranking the car up via your subscription and you sell it as a used car to someone else, we won't cut on for them because we don't allow you to sell the car. You have to bring it back to us, or whatever the case may be. Like, they can stop you from selling the car as a used car, because then he or she's gonna have to crank up, the new person have to crank up the car via the subscription. If that subscription ain't you, then they don't have to allow you to sell the car used. So now there won't be a used car market anymore if subscriptions are on cars. So there's that. So we're in that territory of there won't be any more used cars for sale. Where's this lady at? There was another lady who spoke on this as well. Do I have her up here, or was that all of them that I had? Let me see if I can find it. I think there was one more little chickie I wanted to find that was on here who spoke about the features on the car. Let me see if I can find her real quick. Let me see if I can find her. Because there was one girl that broke down this to a science. And I want to see. I think this is her. This might be her. I think this is her. All right, let's see. I might be right, I might be wrong, but we're going to use this girl right here. And I think she broke down some other features on a used car. So here we go. Let's go ahead and check her out. Let me turn up her sound. All right, here she go. Let's see if she breaks it down.
Yo, we're in a Toyota 2025, and we noticed that on the screen, you can't use navigation unless you pay a subscription fee for it, right? Which is insane. Like, you can't just hook your phone up and use navigation on your phone. That's free. So we looked at the subscription fees, and it's $15 a month. It's also $15 a month to stream music to the actual screen in your car. Okay, together it's $25 a month. Then I also saw somebody on a forum say it's $8 a month to be able to see your oil level and your tire pressure. Bruh, look at this.
Hey, man.
What kind of hell?
To use the car.
Car,
basically use the car. And the key fob.
The car's like 40 grand. Oh yeah, remote start. You have to literally pay a subscription fee to get remote start. The vehicle is capable of all these things. What the fuck
you
reality
have to
are we living
pay
in?
to use them.
Okay, so if you have to use a subscription just to check your oil and tire pressure, which I don't know if that's true, but we're going to go through the comment section and just see right here. Somebody said this girl don't know what she's talking about. Apple CarPlay and Android Auto are free forever. Well, I mean, until now. And you can just connect your iPhone, Android phone and use it to stream music, podcasts, and or GPS with Google Maps, Apple Maps, Wise, or other whatever map you want. The tire pressure is also forever free on the dashboard. Okay. Somebody else says this is false. CarPlay Android Auto is standard and free and will allow you to use your phone navigation depending on the trim level. The Toyota may have remote start with the key fob. You have the option to pay for a sub to start your car from your phone, as that requires data similar to a cell phone. And you can check your oil and tire pressure on the dashboard like any other car. Of course, it's not part of a sub to view. Okay, so he's saying that. So some people are saying that what she's saying is not true or whatever. But the question is, how long will that stuff be free? That's the question. Because, yeah, okay, maybe it doesn't cost to check your tire pressure. Maybe it don't cost to check your oil. Maybe it don't cost to play music now. It will in the future. I guarantee you that. I mean, that's just more money to be made. And if I'm an evil person and I wanted to make all of y'all poor and delete you through financial means, break you financially, I would do it. If I wanted to murk the entire earth through financial means, that's what I would do. I would straight up charge you to oblivion. You want to crank your car? Pay me. You want to play music in your car? Pay me for that subscription. Oh, you want your dashboard to work so you can see how fast it goes or check the oil and tire pressure? Pay for that subscription as well. Otherwise, you won't know, and then you're going to end up destroying the car even more because you've been running on janky oil for how long? I'm just saying, it just makes sense if you think of it from like a evil genius plot to destroy and break you financially, mentally, spiritually. Like, just if I want to crush you, all that makes perfect sense because that's what they've been doing anyway. Why wouldn't you do that? It makes perfect sense. So maybe for now, it's not doing that. And maybe some of the stuff that she said wasn't true, but it will be in the future. I wouldn't put it past them. I wouldn't put it past them. Golly. So I guess if you want a car, get one that's 2020 or earlier. However, they don't want gas cars on the road for much longer. They want EV cars on the road, and they don't want you to even drive or have a driver's license. They want the EV cars to do all the driving for you so they can monitor everywhere you go. And if you got a gas car, don't be surprised when gas prices is $20 a gallon and gas becomes scarce. And that's what I talked about, that young 20-something-year-old gentleman who does the plastoline stuff. I said, man, he better go into hiding like Anne Frank. I'm just saying, bruh. If you have a market for sure, but man, there was a dude in the 90s who went on the news and said he can run his car on water. And not too far long after that interview, I'm just saying, he's no longer with us. So, I mean, man, it's a lot. That's what we're coming to. That's where we're headed. That's what we're doing. Ain't no ifs, ands, or buts about it. They are literally pricing you out of life, pricing you out of existence, pricing us out of everything, everybody. They're pricing everybody out of every facet of life. Women want the best, so the women are going to share the men to get the best. Whether that be 20% of men, 10% of men, or 5% of men. Women are going to share those few percent of men. Why will they do it? Don't let them tell you otherwise. Few will, not all, but majority will. Why will all women do that? Because women operate off of fear and material. They operate off of low frequencies. Fear, material, and feelings. But you can put that under fear. Who is going to fear, stability, material, feelings? Who is going to provide those things? The rich top 5-10% of men. That's who. Or unless they want to go, and play with other women that are lily lint lickers. And then those women. So now all women are going to have to be hypergamous to the small populace of men or women at the end of the day. And then the men are going to have to find their way to get out of this hellhole if they don't want to be poor and in poverty. And if women want to get out of poverty, they're just going to have to hopefully they be pretty and open their legs, or get some kind of surgery and become pretty, but then end up opening your legs. And you're going to be a sex slave to the rich. And men, hopefully you can find a way out of this, because they don't care about you. There ain't nothing in here to support men. Nothing supports men. Everything supports the women nowadays. Everything is toxic masculinity. You can't say this. You can't say that. The court systems is set up in a certain way, where women get penalized less for the same crime. If they commit the same crime as a man, for some reason the woman gets a lesser sentence. You know what I mean? It's men. You better make a lot of money, or suffer the consequences of being poor and broke. And ladies, they're going to give you all the money and the wealth and material that you ever desire. But you're going to have to deal with a small population of men that you will share if you want any kind of intimacy. So you'll get the material, but your emotional needs, your social needs will not be met. You'll basically end up like that girl from Black Mirror, 15 Million Merits. Like that's how everything gonna play out that way. It's gonna end up in some form or fashion that way. Women gonna have because women are gonna go to where the survival is, where the stability is, where the money is. They hypergamously, that's where the majority of them are going to go. Men are gonna have to fight their way out of it. So that's just where we're headed in a nutshell. It's going in that direction, and things are going to get more expensive because the more AI comes into play, life is going to get more and more expensive. They even said that on the World Economic Forum 2025 job reports. I read that to you. They said inflation. They're like, it's a mix. We're not too sure how that's gonna pan out. As a matter of fact, I think I got it up here right now. I can show it to you when they speak on inflation. They're like, yeah, about inflation. it might go down, it might go up. We're not too sure how that's gonna look, but you know, we rich, so it's not gonna hurt us. But if you broke, yeah, how do we say this in a nutshell? Oh yeah,
FYM. Fuck y'all motherfuckers, you know?
that's what we're trying to say to you in a nutshell. Let me find it for you real quick, because they even mentioned it. Let's see. Let's see. What is it? Right? Is it right here? Remains. Oh, here it is, right here. Yeah, I got it. Here it is. Right here. It's right here. Increased living costs ranks as the second most transformative trend overall. This is the World Economic Forum Job Reports 2025. And the top trend related to economic conditions, with half of the employers expecting it to transform their business by 2030. Despite an anticipated reduction in global inflation, general economic slowdown to a lesser extent also remains top of the mind and is expected to transform 42% of businesses. Inflation is predicted to have a mixed outlook for the net job creation into 2030, while slower growth is expected to displace 1.6 million jobs globally. They're not too sure how inflation is gonna look. They're like, we don't know how it's gonna work out, but like, you know, sink or swim, you know, like at the end of the day, if things go bad, well then
prepare the meat so don't.
You'll be alright, you know what I mean? We got some UBI for you, and then, you know, if things get too bad, you know, well, I mean, you know, you see how the Terminator turns out, you know, things will, you know, pan out for you. You know, you'll probably be like one of those people in that In Time movie with Justin Timberlake, you know. You had two classes of people. You had the wealthy and you had the poor, you know. Justin Timberlake lived in the lower class society, so, you know, you're just gonna have to work ridiculously and try not to die every single day. Yeah, no, it's no big deal. Like, you can handle it. It'll be all right. We'll throw you a bone, you know what I mean? And if things get too rough, well, pull yourself up by your bootstraps. You know what they say. So yeah, that's the direction that we're headed. And it's gonna be here pretty rapidly, I would say. I usually say for the next 5 or 10 years, but we probably got like 2 or 3 years left before I would say a financial shock of job markets hit us, because things happen exponentially faster than what's being said. Maybe we got 2 or 3 years. Hopefully we got 5, but probably gonna be like 2 or 3. I mean, the year 2026 is gonna say a lot to us. 2026 is gonna speak volumes. We'll know how fast this stuff goes by next year. Whenever next year start rolling and we start seeing, like, you know, January, for like the first quarter, second quarter, for sure. When we get to the second quarter, 6 months in, seeing how much technology, AI roll out and how things are looking, because AI is taking a whole new leap this year. AI is at the end of this year, at the end of 2025. If you look at AI now, I'm over here believing that there's a new a new Avengers trailer already out, and this AI Avenger trailer's out, and I'm like, yo, that looks. They're showing. If you go on TikTok, type in Avengers, right? They're showing behind the scenes footage of Avengers in AI. Let that sink in. They're showing behind the scenes footage of the new Avenger movies in AI. So you're seeing like the camera, the setup, the people on set talking to each other in between sets, taking photos, but it's all AI, it's all fake. And you gonna think it's real. So this next year, 2026, with AI, man, oh man, we finna see how fast AI is. In the next video that I do, I'm gonna sit down and, you know what, do I have time to do it now? Let me see, do I have time? Where's this video? Nah, I'll probably break it down into a second video. I do got time, but I got stuff I gotta do. But when we look at the way the world is going, I look at the HIV issue as an underlying virus that they're gonna bring back, that they're gonna bring to the surface because of the open degeneracy that they're allowing, because they're allowing women to make a lot of money. And this woman broke down what happens when women make a lot of money. She broke it down. She said when women make a lot of money, what do? They have more sex. They get more promiscuous. Birth rates go down. Access to sex go up. Cool. Well, when access to sex go up and birth rates go down, what happens? Well, you get this, HIV. Well, the CDC said, well, since that's going to happen, we got a treatment for you. And it involves taking medication. The good news is, with the medication we got, the treatment we got is so good, it is undetectable at viral loads. And you will not transmit HIV to others through sex if you have an undetectable viral load. So hey, guess what? You can catch HIV and keep on having sex. No problemo. The only thing is, remember what this girlie here told us at the very beginning of the show. Y'all remember this girl? Yeah, remember what she told us? She said, get ready with me as I go pick up my HIV medication. She said, how much is this medication if I didn't have insurance? They told her $4,200, $4,200. She said that's more than the other one. Granted, she is in New York, so things tend to be more expensive. Let's just cut that number in half. $2,200 for some HIV medication. And is that monthly? Is that bi-monthly? What is that? Is that is that 1 month? Twice a week? I mean, twice a month? Every 2 months, 3 months? Still $2,200, $3,000 if you didn't have insurance. And remember, this lady over here, she spoke about her being a nurse, and she saw a lot of Ryan White patients, a lot of Ryan White clients. Ryan White clients Ryan White is basically some group or whatever that helps people with treatments and resources that have AIDS or HIV. Well, this lady told us that they're trying to get rid of Ryan White. So for people who are having help with treatments to AIDS and HIV, they're trying to cut Ryan White. So the patients that lady was seeing who were clients of Ryan White, they won't be in anymore because they won't have access to the resources that Ryan White gives that helps people who have HIV and AIDS with treatments and resources and diagnosis. So that's going to be gone. So now that you have that, and if that goes away, I don't think it went away yet. I think we still got Ryan White, but if Ryan White goes away, then that means that people won't be able to get treatments to their HIV. That's going to get rid of a lot of people with treatments to HIV. On top of that, immigrants that have been coming in, they don't have to be, if they have HIV, if they're positive for HIV, they can still come into America. Military soldiers can get into enlistment with HIV. You have the perfect recipe. Then on top of that, you get new cars, they got subscriptions. All these things that are happening, like the money is going, like cost of living is getting higher. Then you got an underlying boiling virus of HIV going around everywhere, and immigrants come over here and they come to America and they look around, and our women dress scantily clad. Our women got their titties out, their booties out. They walk into the store with leggings. They got their camel toe print showing. Don't tell me what to do. We looking how we want to look. So be it. OnlyFans is popping. Sugar daddies is popping. Sugar babies is popping. You know, women are selling it for a fee. They'll sell themselves if you got enough money. Immigrant come in, get him a little job, get himself lined up with the government, because the government will give the immigrant assistance to take care of his family. So his housing and stuff is paid for. He got a little extra money to go and sleep with some of these, women out there. Because, he got the bread for it. So now he can pay for some of these women. But he an immigrant who came in with HIV, but that's not a reason to, kick him out. She might be selling it with HIV because it's undetectable and can't be transmitted. I mean, there's so much, all this boiling going on underneath, and it's a virus just like COVID was. I'm just like, man, this ain't looking too good. Because that's a perfect pandemic 2.0 if you ask me. And then on top of that, you want to drive a car and they got a subscription fee for you? So now if women want to, escort to the higher level of men, I would say, they would be driving around in these fancy cars. They got subscription fees that track everywhere they go. They get Cash App, they get Venmo. They like, she slept with him, she was with him, he was with her, she was with him, she was with him. They can see everything that she doing and they can track everything that she does. We got her health sheet right here. Yep, she has it, but she's undetectable for now. Like, it's just a recipe for disaster that we living in. What do you do in trying times like this? Well, I'll say this. I will say this. Where is it at? Where is it at? Where can I find it? Where is it? Come on. Where is it at? Can I find it? I don't think I'll be able to find it in time. I can't find. Of course I can't find it when I'm looking for it, right? Nope, I can't find it. I'm over here looking for it. I'm trying to find it, but I can't find it. It should be at the top, right? There it goes. A prudent man foreseeth the evil and hideth himself, but the simple pass on and are punished. It's a little proverb for you for today. That's about all I would say that you could do at this point. By humility and fear of the Lord are riches and honor and life. That'll be your proverbs for today at the end to give you an understanding on how to navigate. Because as long as you can see it coming, you got to understand that when the Jezebel spirit was running rampant in the Bible, the smartest thing the men could do was to get away. When Enoch was seeing that they was doing all sorts of craziness over there in the land, he said, I'm going to get away. That's the only thing you can do, because you have to let it run its course. Just like a sickness in your body. You don't get over the sickness, you go through the sickness. You know what I mean? You don't get over it, you go through it. That's how it works. So that's gonna be it for today. Hopefully I'll drop some knowledge on you and you gain some wisdom for today. I gotta get up out of here. Thank y'all for tuning in. Hit the like button. I greatly appreciate you. And with that being said, man, I will be back. What is it, Friday? So I'll try to come back here on Wednesday if I got time. And we're going to talk about some of the other things that's going on. Hopefully give you an insight on what to do in more of life. But like I always say, keep your head down, stay focused, have a plan, stick to it, keep grinding for the next 5 or 10 years, stay focused on the economy, get your money up, don't have any debt weight, don't take on anything extra that you need to take on. Shout out to CGA because some of his stuff does help. And make sure that you understand exactly, what's happening in the future, how you should navigate. It's not just externally, but internally, because that's where the battle is happening. This is not just the external battle. It is a spiritual battle. So stay prayed up and stay focused. Keep reading. And with that being said, I'm going to get up out of here. I'll see y'all on Monday. Take care of yourselves. Peace.
Thank you for watching D. Elliott Fitness Livestream. Goodbye.
game on lock, and I got the keys like Jay-Z. My fame won't stop, it's the only thing I'm chasing. The game on lock, and I got the keys like Jay-Z. Don't wake no nigga in Austin, Texas, in the booth, slaying beats. I'd rather be in the studio than in jail or on the street. Talking the wrong, coming off your teeth. Got that one hit to quit and knock you off your feet. It's big on, baby, I'm obsolete. Pockets chunky like cottage cheese. Real nigga, I just gotta be. Smoking weed that don't gotta see. Used to be a hustler prodigy. I love when people say they proud of me. I'm eating good, smoking broccoli, taking over blocks like Monopoly. Only fuck the ones that's my policy. Most of these hoes trying to cause a scene. Like niggas mad they not on the team. See, I got bread, then bought a dream. The game on lock, and I got the keys like Jay-Z. My fame won't stop, but the only thing I'm chasing. The game on lock, and I got the keys like Jay-Z. Don't wait no nigga in Austin, Texas, in the booth, playing beats. The game on lock, and I got the keys like Jay-Z. My fame won't stop, but the only thing I'm chasing. The game on lock, and I got the keys like Jay-Z. Don't wait no nigga in Austin, Texas, in the booth, playing beats. Counting cash and smoking green, can be blowing cloud like a smoke machine. Your bitch on my dick, she got no to sing. Bumblebee ass, yeah, I know it's thing. I'll plug your bitch like a 6-string. Jordan with the bitches got 6 rings. Smoke till my bitch a split screen. The press with pain pills and sipping lean. Riding dirty, but I'm extra clean. Lyrics nice, but I'm extra mean. All-star heavyweight like Wolverine. The bitch learns like she open me. I flip money like Clover G. Gang hustle like TIP. It's hard baby like D.I.G. Acronym like KRT. The game on lock, and I got the keys like Jay-Z. My fame won't stop, but the only thing I'm chasing. The game on lock, and I got the keys like Jay-Z. Don't wait no nigga in Austin, Texas, in the booth, playing beats. The game on lock, and I got the keys like Jay-Z. My fame won't stop, but the only thing I'm chasing. The game on lock, and I got the keys like Jay-Z. Don't wait no nigga in Austin, Texas, in the booth, playing beats. Killing beats like RP, no hard shit with your artery. Cutting up, who sharp as me? Rolling up accordingly. Pulling hoes, no sorcery. Rapping like y'all forcing me. If I ain't right, then it's forgery. Nigga selling to the rock like a Florida beat. Lyrical monster on the Lord of Beats. Text nigga, my bitch Georgia Peach. Pimp tight nigga, I do more than cheat. Cold like D-Wade, I ignore the heat. Bitch, I'm on way, hit the short police. Money jumping like the nigga on the sneaks. Come to James, give me on the beat. Bitch, I'm always winning.